everyone, my name is Souls Convoy. Today I'm taking a look at Iron Factory EX-74 Raiki, which is their version of a stylized slash ever so slightly samurai Sunstreaker. No look at the boxes, I don't give a shit about Iron Factory boxes. Let's just take a look at the figure. Head sculpt is really good. I really like the head sculpt. There's this nice yellow paint picked out on the sides, nice silver paint. Blue paint for the eyes that doesn't feel super visible. Let me see if I can get some more light on it. It's a pretty nice blue paint in person, but honestly, I will admit it does kind of get lost. It's not like, you know, the camera is doing a disservice. I think the camera is capturing the yellow-orange pretty well. It's all bare plastic, but I do think it's a good yellow-orange in hand. It definitely looks nice. It's a bit brighter though than the camera is suggesting right now. The red details on his shoulder pads and on his crotch plate are picked out in red paint. They look really nice. They look very glossy. It's a very glossy red paint. I don't mind it. Proportionally, he looks really nice. I really like how he has a very natural S curve going on with his body proportions and everything. These legs especially look really good. The feet look really good. It's a really good use of car parts. It feels like that Infiltration-esque era of IDW where, you know, they're really trying to make real cars come to life with modernized G1 designs. And it's a really good aesthetic, I think. The backpack is kind of, I would say it's not bad. These pieces just feel unfinished. They don't really go anywhere. I mean, they kind of do, but they just don't feel finished. And you know, they kind of mess it up a bit. The rest of the backpack actually compacts super cool. I really like how the rest of the backpack ties up together and cleans up, so that's nice. I also like how the fists are like naturally ball jointed inwards to make it look like a super like more of like a mecha slash super robot motif where the fists curl inwards, like the ball joint is actually sculpted that way. It's like a really neat touch I saw, and I was pretty happy with that. So shout out to Iron Factory for that. Unfortunately, it's not going to be very positive from here on out. In terms of articulation, I mean, we're already taking a huge L. When it comes to the head, you don't get more than that to the side because of, I don't really know why. Hold on, I don't know why my light is just a bit, my lighting is not cooperating with me today. I'm sorry, guys. You only get, like if it's all black, you can't really see it. He only gets all that much to the side. Really not ideal. It bumps into this thing in the back, which also means that, you know, he has a very minimal downward tilt, minimal side to side. For some reason, there's no cut at the back of the head. And then he gets like this much up, which is nothing. So the head posability is terrible. The shoulders are a nightmare. These are huge bulbous pieces with no articulation inside them. There's a second hinge joint in here, and they're on a ball joint here. So you can get them out that far, or I don't know, if you mess with it a lot, you can kind of, it's bad. This is not good. They go forward, but once they're forward, they can't kick out to the side either. They are very restrictive. They are very restrictive. I think that's the most you can get out, to be honest, in all honesty. There's a hinge and a ball joint, but they don't really do much. This backpack assembly is way too close to the back and just messes everything up here. Now there's a bicep swivel and a double jointed elbow, which goes for the full run, which is great. It does go for the full run. This one's just not really, it goes that far, almost the full run. Not really cooperating. These are right here on ball joints for the wrist, so they get the full swivel. They get a bit tilt in every direction, which is awesome. Should have done that in the robot mode overview. However, there's several issues. This isn't tabbed in, so this is articulated. Articulation, the kibble here is not tabbed into anything in any way. It's just on this ball joint here, so that gets in the way when you're posing it. Not gets in the way, but like it starts moving on you. And then a really fun feature this guy has. So there's no grip on this mushroom joint, so it just pops in and out, which is awesome. I really love when my figure just, you know, does that. And the transformation, by the way, was an absolute pain. And this constantly comes off. It's just a joke. So there's that. There's an ab crunch, which I had engaged before. There's a waist swivel, and then there's an ab crunch, which is really tight and gets you, I want to say about 60 degrees. Am I stupid? I don't know, man. I don't really care. This stuff back here doesn't really tab in well at all, and like it kind of unfurls like he has a, I'm not going to say it. But that doesn't tab in very well, and it kind of gets in the way when you kick backwards. So you have to kind of like out hinge and then kick backwards. Like you have to go out a little bit and then kick backwards. You can kick forward to like, not even that far, honestly. I want to say you can kick forward to like maybe, I don't know. What is this, like 75? And then you can kick out to the side. The hands are in the way. 90. Thigh swivel, which clashes with the waist. Double jointed knee, which gets you the full run. Wow, you know, that works at least. And then the ankles are on ball joints. Unfortunately, this doesn't get you a lot of, it gets you like this much up and this much down, so it's not like a huge thing. And you probably can't see this, but they do hinge inwards, and then if you hinge them too much, they just pop off. For some reason, you know, there was no reason for that to be that way, but it is. God, here he is. Let's go over accessories. He comes with multiple pairs of hands. I have the static fists on. I'm not going to switch them all on. I'm not really enjoying this guy. I'll be clear. So you have a pair of these open hands, you know, quite nice. You have a pair of these tilted holding hands. You have a pair of them. I always like these. They're very crucial for this guy, actually. They help a lot. And then you have a pair of the regular Iron Factory holding hands. So the same as, I think, his contemporaries. I think the same exact hands that Red Alert came with. His accessories include this vintage, or I guess like this, it looks like a 17th century pistol. The handle can collapse and he can hold it with any one of his hands. I'm not going to plug them. I just don't like touching the figure, honestly, so I'm just going to plug it into the hand here, and then he holds it like that. So it's good you have this tilted holding hand so that you can hold it. Hands up. I'll just show you. You can hold it straight. By the way, these hands, just, oh yeah, the grip is fine. The hands come off really easy. Might be an issue for some people, might not. And then he also has this giant, I forgot what it's called. It's a giant blade. Oh my god, there's a Japanese name for this. I know exactly what it's called. I was looking at it last week and I completely forgot what it's called. I'm not falling apart or anything, guys. I'm just not really enjoying this figure. You can slide it into either one of the hands. Obviously, in my opinion, these always look better with the tilted holding hands because, you know, people usually don't hold things straight up all the time. But yeah, you can hold that too. No issues. And then this can collapse. He comes with this thing, which you may wonder, what is this, right? Well, this thing folds up, and then you can slide this in, and then this is for alternate mode because it's going to look weird because the port is at an angle, and then there's this angled thing right here for robot mode, and you can just tab it in, or I mean plug it in right there. Oh, I didn't give him back a hand, oopsie. God. And yeah, he can store his I'm not gonna say it if I don't know what it is. I know what it is, I just don't remember what it's called. And then I'm gonna pop that off. Do I sound disinterested and negative in this review? Yes. I haven't really gotten into why I really am not enjoying myself. There's just this feeling to this figure that everything's unstable. I'm not just talking about the bicep, but like this is unstable, this is unstable. You know, like it doesn't feel satisfying to handle. Things just want to fight you all the time. It's a very like stark difference from the Red Alert where like things are just like working with you the whole time and it feels fun. Speaking of comparisons, here's a terrible toy and here's a good toy. Both from the same company, released less than a few months apart. I guess Red Alert's mold is older, but they're in the same series as well. They have very close numbers in the line and they're supposed to go together. Red Alert was one of my favorite toys last year, and he excited me so much for this guy. And looking at them side by side, you might think, wow, they look pretty good aesthetically together. And then you realize that Sunstreaker is well, I'll go over to final thoughts, I guess. Here are these guys. Let me get in some stuff for size comparisons. Here's a Core class Bomb Burst. You know, I feel like that's the most pertinent size comparison. Well, or I know Core is kind of dead, apparently, or not apparently, I don't know, confirmed. New Age Manowar, Doctor Who Cosmos, Legion class Flak, and then let me zoom out. Here is Chug G2 Trooper, and they're your size comparisons. Same size as Red Alert, about a little bit taller than a Core class, obviously more complex. I'm gonna get them transformed, and then we'll look at alternate mode. Here's a quick size comparison in alternate mode. Here's Red Alert and Sunstreaker, same size pretty much. Legion class, New Age Sea Spray, Manowar to be exact, Doctor Who Cosmos, Shattered Glass, Core Bomb Burst, and then next to a Deluxe. So let's clear out the comparisons, and I'm gonna leave Red Alert here while we focus in on the mold itself. So I think it looks pretty good in alternate mode. The reason I have Red Alert here to show you is that I don't think it makes a lot of improvements. Like, it adds these bumps here for the supercharger, which I guess you can ignore. But the main key difference between these toys is that when you like pick them up and hold them, everything on Red Alert is secure, it's solid, it's tabbed in well. Nothing is fighting me when I press this toy. I don't feel like I'm massaging anything into place. When I touch Sunstreaker, you can almost feel the plastic just creaking in places, and seams start to become inconsistent. Things don't line up properly. It's just an absolute chore to get this toy transformed, an absolute pain. I cannot actually elucidate or properly eloquate how bad it looks good though. It looks pretty good. I like the color. It's very nice. It's a very nice color for the base plastic, for the yellowish orange. There's some silver paint accents that come out really well. The sculpt of the front looks pretty nice. It looks a bit more. Red Alert has like this modding right here, which I think looks pretty cool, but this is more cohesive. The back is done pretty well, and somehow these managed to line up despite the hell of a transformation. This feels weird, but I think it's transformed correctly. I honestly don't care at this point. There is weapon storage in this mode. The gun, or I guess you want to call it the pistol, it actually folds up, which is really cool, and it tabs in between his legs. I was having an actual medieval torture experience trying to transform this, so I forgot about doing it. I'm not untabbing this to do it again because I can't take it anymore. The spear slash staff can be stored as well. You basically put it in the same thing you put it in for storing it in robot mode. And, you know, it just slots in. I don't like this. It slots in and it tabs in to the hole right there. I mean, it's weapon storage, you know, so you can store everything. I think it can only transform with the fists on. But yeah, that's basically the look at alternate mode. I will. Oh yeah, by the way, it rolls perfectly fine. So yeah, I will be back in a sec for final thoughts. So final thoughts. You know, I said I was going to get him transformed, then we'll look at alternate mode before the alternate mode section. I lied. I actually started the review in alternate mode. I do this sometimes. And the reason for that is because I got this toy out of the box today. And I got this toy, I got it from Shozi. I'll put a link in the description if you want it. I got it out of the box and I immediately had some issues with it, but I'm not gonna talk about it in a second. I transformed it into alternate mode, and I decided that that would be the last time I ever put it in alternate mode. So I took it into alternate mode, and then I had it in alternate mode, and I filmed the alternate mode section of the review, and then I transformed it back to robot mode, and I filmed everything else, right? So this toy, I will only transform it once. I will never transform it again. I started the transformation, I struggled with it for about 35 minutes, and I decided I don't want to do this anymore, but I'm making a review on it, so I have to finish it. I'm not starting the gallery yet because I need to show something with these toys later. The two of them. But I will never transform this toy again. It comes packaged in robot mode. It'll go back in the box in robot mode whenever I actually decide to get rid of it. I don't know if anyone will ever buy this off me. It kind of sucks. But I need to say something. I love this design. Like, aesthetically, I love this design. So there's no bias or preconceived notion for me that I want this figure to fail for some reason or another. In fact, I was actually pretty adamant about defending the design on TFW at one point. I really do like it. It's one of my favorite Carbots ever aesthetically. Like, out of any 3P Legend Carbot, out of any redesign of a G1 character, it's one of my favorites. I absolutely love how the lower half looks. I love how the upper half looks. It's an absolute banger of a design to me. I love how this looks. And I love how Red Alert looks, and I was so excited for this. This is my most anticipated figure of the year, besides like MMC Stray. And it's just a shame that this is probably the worst thing I've handled all year. Not even by like a hyperbole or knee-jerk reaction. I mean, no, I mean, it's bad. Like, it's bad. I mean, like, come on, man. Like, what are we doing here? I know that people will like see this and be like, well, that's Iron Factory for you. You know, it looks good, but it's a pain to handle. You know, I don't believe in generalizations like that. I take every figure as it is. And this figure, I guess you can say it fulfills the stereotype. I don't believe in stereotyping. But I'm sure that it's good ammunition for that stereotype. This, however, is Red Alert. Red Alert is peak. I put my review up on Red Alert. You all know how I feel about it if you've seen it. Every issue this has is in direct like opposite to this. You know what I'm saying? So like the issues of this toy are not, I want to say like, you know, what I'm trying to say is that like I wouldn't take this toy and then be like, oh well, you know, it's just Iron Factory for you. No, this is uniquely bad. Roll the gallery. This is bad, right? Like, it deserves to be criticized on its own merit, not as like a thing where like the rest of the portfolio is like this. It's not. I have a bunch of IF toys. I handle a bunch of IF toys. I mean, this comes right out after Hellbat, and Hellbat was fantastic. Guy-Hawk is coming in soon. He's almost as good as Hellbat. I'm getting my copy soon too. Jalgor was fantastic. Leozak was fantastic. They've put out really good toys recently. So this whole like thing where like all the samurai stuff is bad when it's mostly just like drift. It's gonna be like a generalization people make, and it's gonna do like lip service for this figure where it's like just another bad samurai figure. No, this is Cheeks. A lot of it is good. I love how it looks. I usually do the good and the bad together, and I've said it before, I love how this thing looks. I am its biggest defender aesthetically, but I also hate how it is as a toy. The transformation is dog awful. It's not like an instructions thing or like a videos lacking thing. It's just bad. It's just straight up bad. Things don't work. They don't work with you. Even when you do everything correctly, it's still a pain in the ass. And I cannot give it any positive lip service in that regard. I have to be completely honest with this. I'm not going to put my foot in the sand and be like, well, I like the design, so I can hand wave an absolutely terrible hand experience. No, I'm not going to do that. And it would be unfair to my viewers for me to like shove my own biases down their throats and basically whitewash a bad toy. It's bad. You know, I mean, the bicep swivel, I had to mod it out of the box because it doesn't just pull off. It used to pop off if you turned it because of mold flash. I removed the mold flash. Now it stays on, but if you put any pressure to the outside, it'll just come off because there's no grip on the mushroom peg. The articulation is uniquely bad. The head sculpt gets basically 0 up. The ankles don't actually get as much range as you think they would get. They look like they're unrestricted. They are restricted for no reason. Even with the ab crunch, it does not feel that dynamic, and the shoulders are just genuinely terrible. I'm surprised, but like at the same time, you know, I suppose it's a good lesson, and like, you know, despite how good something else may have been, it doesn't necessarily guarantee the next thing will be extremely good. Iron Factory has a history of being inconsistent, but again, I'm not gonna take away from how bad this is by like tapping into like, well, it's just unusual. It's not the usual. It's worse. And the usual is also good toys. Iron Factory does make good toys, which is why this feels especially disappointing. You know, it makes me look at Red Alert like, damn, Like, that toy is part of the reason I had so much hype for this, because I enjoyed that so much in hand. I figured, well, maybe this will be the same. You know, I figured Sideswipe would be the rotten apple of the three of them. But now I'm very happy I didn't buy Sideswipe. I'm very happy with Red Alert. I will keep Red Alert. I don't know what I'm going to do with this thing. It looks great. I can just put it on the shelf and never touch it again. But I don't collect like that personally. If you collect like that, I can recommend this to you. If you think it looks cool and you just want to put it in one pose and never touch it again and never transform it, buy it. It's priced well. It comes with a ton of stuff. The accessories are cool. That's the only situation where I can recommend this toy. Otherwise, no. I think you can pass on this and get anything else from Iron Factory, and you'll probably have a better time. It's a shame, you know, I was very excited for this. I was this toy's biggest supporter. I told like every single person I know who I'm friends with that like I am so excited for this. It was my most anticipated pre-order. I pre-ordered it the second the in-hand images went up, or the final product images went up, and it is kind of heartbreak. You know, this was kind of a blow. I mean, like, I saw the TFW thread before I got my copy, so I was mentally prepared to not meet my hype, but I wasn't actually prepared for the toy to be as bad as everyone was saying it was being. I was having some denialism. We're like, well, maybe they just didn't understand the transformation. No, I mean, everyone's right. It sucks. I won't say it's trash because it still looks good. It can pull off some poses, and the transformation, you can master it. I can see how it can become easier over time, but it goes from like ass to like less ass, and I don't feel like that's like a worthy investment of your time. Even if it's cheap, like, time is valuable, right? And you don't want to be spending your time getting frustrated. But it does some things well. I will admit, it does look good. The head sculpt is fantastic. The design is fantastic. I like the weapon storage, you know, I like the large blade weapon. I will remember what it's called later. It's just a shame, you know, it's a shame that this isn't, it's a shame this isn't good, you know. I am personally very disappointed. You know, it's not even like a thing where I'm on here to like soapbox about how this thing is ass and I feel like Iron Factory is screwing me over. No, I'm not even mad anymore. I'm like genuinely disappointed. I was really looking forward to this, and like I'm genuinely upset that I'm not enjoying it. You know, that's the crux of the issue, which sucks. But you know, it is what it is. And as a reviewer, I hope I can do my due diligence and be honest, even if, you know, there are other people who will like take this and be like, "Waha, another stinker from Iron Factory." You know, like, you know what? Fine. You do have a point. It is really bad. If I had a grudge against a third party company, I would also use this as ammunition to fuel that grudge. Because I know a lot of people don't like the Samurai Direction. They want the old stuff back. I love the Samurai Direction sometimes. Sometimes. This is a long final thought segment, by the way, but I'm not going to call it a rant. I'm not going to call it a rant because I was not angry. I won't say this is as bad as New Age Slicer simply because I didn't feel financial damage when I bought this toy. It was only $30. And there are some things I actually like about it. There was almost nothing I liked about New Age Slicer except for the alternate mode. But when the only positive I can say about your toy is that it looks good and it isn't overpriced, I mean, I don't know, man. It's not a lot of positives. Anyways, I'm so sorry for the long-winded discussion. But thank you guys for tuning in. Again, big shame about this guy. Wish I loved it. Too bad. But yeah, thank you everyone who, you know, watches, leaves comments, etc. I really appreciate it. I love the engagement. I love talking to you guys. Have a great one. And I hope whatever figure you guys get next, you enjoy more than I enjoyed this one. Souls Convoy, peace out.